Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Happy Me Career Coaching Initiatives episode number 9. Today, we're going to talk about something very happy because it really resonates the name of this whole content and initiatives, Happy Me Career. And in episode 9, today we're going to talk about manifesting the happy me for work and personal development. Happy Me Career Coaching Initiatives runs on a mission to spread awareness of coaching and bring about an evolved change to masses' mindset and advocate the use of coaching into their daily lifestyle to help the individuals so to engage growth. Like I always say, many coaches, we had our fair share of coaching experiences for me too, that it always starts off with someone not being happy with themselves. And often happiness comes within self, stem from being aware of themselves first and how to manage the environment factors that are affecting them, right? So when I first created Happy Me Career, I had thought it over so much for the name because I asked myself the same question. Throughout the life journey, especially career, what is the one thing that keeps me going? It is about being happy. So happiness within self is powerful and it drives energy and it brings all your motivations. So tonight, okay, we're gonna have two amazing happiness coaches and it's double happiness in the house. Many wonder what's happiness coach? Sounds like meditation of sort, Well, let's stay on. Here we have Soha Juneja, the mental health architect, a career counselor, a happiness coach. Soha has over 20 years of experience in mental health, helping individuals to get out of their mental their happiness. So it's the same for Yuantai and himself. He's also the founder of Happy Man Club. He's been a happiness coach for the last couple of years and, helping people to develop themselves, bring their happiness out. Now, let's go on. Tonight, I shall not hold on to anybody and we shall have a happy night. Let's start off, Soha. It's very interesting. You're a mental health architect. Perhaps you can share with us a little bit more about yourself.
So hello everybody. As you know that I am, Soha Juneja and a mental health architect, also a happiness coach. I'm very much honored to be a part of this team today. Reason being that I'd seen that this team is really working very hard to, make everybody's life happy. It is actually for a cause. So to talk a little about me is like, I've been into this industry since 20 plus years, taking care of serving people across and welcoming people to overcome their fear, overcome their anxiety, overcome their depression. And then we also counsel people individually, right from preteens to post-teens to mid-age to elderly, to everybody, whoever actually needs that support and help to hear them out. And we are living here for a cause, and I very strongly believe that the one reason that drives me to serve people is that I want to see everybody smiling across the globe. I know it is very easy to say and difficult to actually go ahead and practice it and tell people to do what they do not like, because being happy is not everybody's cup of tea. We are all stressed out. That's our daily chore. I mean, the kind of work we do since morning until night, and then going back home and hitting the bed, it's very, very stressful. And especially, I think the pandemic had brought a lot of stress in everybody's life across the globe. It's shaken the world. So I know that people are losing their jobs, people are not very happy, children not going to school, staying back home, parents aren't very happy about it, and their education is getting hampered. They're not able to venture out. Teens are not able to go to the colleges. People who are of the middle age are working from home, and working from home is also very stressful. We think it's very easy. It isn't that easy. So I think we are majorly playing a role here to tell people that it's very simple to live, just that you need to be stressed out. And we are going to give them some techniques today in this particular show, how to come out of the stress with our techniques, which are very, very useful. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, Soha. Thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself. Now, coming on to Yuantai. Yuantai, I know you have been the founder of Happy Man Club. Very interesting, Happy Man Club. And I also know you've been a coach to young working professionals yourself, helping people to get out. Now, the stage is yours. Maybe tell us more about
Yeah,
yourself, Yuantai.
sure. Thank you, Mavis. Right, hello. And for those of you who don't know me, this just a little bit about my history. I was actually trained as a pharmacist, so I went to the university and got my degree and graduated in the year 2009. Got my license in 2010, and I've actually practiced as a pharmacist from 2010 all the way until 2017. And at 2017, I decided that I needed to look for something more. It's not that I didn't like the practice, I actually enjoyed the practice, but it's come to a stage where I feel that I'm stagnating and there wasn't any personal growth. So I took a leap of faith and then I jumped out of the industry and I came out and started something on my own. So when I first came out, I didn't have a clear plan, so I started doing digital marketing. And after that, about 1.5 years ago, I decided to fully focus on coaching and life coaching and career coaching, especially because these are the areas which resonated with me. And I realized that in the course of transiting out of being employed to starting out my own business, I realized that there are a lot of people who are actually corporate zombies. So what do I mean by corporate zombies? They actually stuck in a job. They may or may not like the job. They may or may not like the boss, but they feel as if they are not fulfilling their full potential. They are just cruising along. They are just being comfortable where they are. So this is where Happy Man Club actually came in. So when I first started out as an entrepreneur, I had no relevant network. I didn't have the experience. So I literally started from scratch, and of course, drawing a decent salary as a pharmacist to earning zero because I started everything built from scratch. That's a really tough journey, and I realized that along the way I could actually help people, and it really made me happy doing that. So Happy Man Club is really a social business networking group, but we also have a focus that is to help people, specifically the less advantaged in the society. Yeah. Even in Singapore, there are also people who are less advantaged, whether they are physically handicapped or because of circumstance and they do not have as much as other people. So Happy Man Club is about almost a year old. Actually, it's just crossed 1 year. I started in October last year, so we just crossed our anniversary. And I'm glad to say that Happy Man Club is now an online community. It's actually on Facebook. You can actually find it, Happy Man Club. If you type in, you can actually see this logo. Yeah. So it's about 400 strong. And prior to the COVID, we were actually having once a month meetups. But now, because of COVID, we have to transit everything online. And moving forward, hopefully next year we can resume our face-to-face meetup again. So we help people. We provide a speaking platform for the disadvantaged, the disabled, and we also help them to raise some funds for their daily expenses. So that's Happy Man Club, and it's actually in line with my values of being a coach. And being a coach, I help people, professionals who are jaded, who are this passion, and they lost their fire, they lost their passion. Help them to rediscover their passion, help them to clarify their goals, and help them to achieve their goals moving forward. So that's what I do as a life coach, as a career coach.
Wow, thank you, Yuantai. You said about next time I shall make myself a top HappyMeCareer. Now let's come back. Soha, I was watching your Unclip Me YouTube series, rewiring that, the mind itself. And it's one statement that catches my attention and it stays throughout me. since I watched your YouTube video, and that is you were mentioning everyone is born with a happy mind. And it's because as we grow, our circumstances changes, right? So now maybe I'll pose the two of you a question. How do you find that happy self within, your own professional or personal development? Perhaps Soha, you can share with us.
Um, I always tell, like, if I have a series of video called Unclipped Me. That's the name of my organization where I probably am a founder. And I found this Unclipped Me reason being that I very strongly felt that, every being, as if you actually read the book on the psychology of any human, we are very much born a happy person, though we start with a cry when we are born, but as and when we grow, because we are children, we are taught to be happy at that point in time because we are getting a lot of love across us, so we don't have any negativity coming or pondering us, because the only thing we are getting is the affection from everybody, maybe as the most cutest child at that point in time, or maybe the most adorable one, or maybe the one who has the beautiful eyes, or the one who might be very chubby or whatever. So the environment is very healthy and happy because at your home you're not stressed, you're too small to even understand the word stress. But as in when you're growing, there are a lot other circumstances which comes across you, and for that you actually feel that you cannot be very happy because there is a lot of competition around you. Your parents themselves, I'm sorry if parents are listening to this, but then it is definitely alarming for them that they compare their children with others. That comparison is something which I very strongly believe puts you into a mode that is called auto mode, which automatically, as I said, it rewires your brain into a lot other thought processes. For example, you feel that your neighbors are your competitors, your own brothers and sisters are your competitors, your relatives are your competitors, and that's why you won't be very happy. I am sorry to tell, most of the people across the globe actually relate being happy to a successful career or maybe earning a lot of money. But that is not the truth. Happiness is not about the career. Happiness is about how you are inside out. It is about your brain, it is about your heart, it is about your soul. So, happy mind is all when you probably fix yourself, rewire yourself to increase the chemicals which are there in your brain. Like, we have four chemicals which are called as, we have dopamine. We have
Mm.
dopamine keeps your brain happy, and it happens, I mean, you can dopamine actually increases with the habit of maybe exercise or probably walking or any kind of activity. And then you have oxytocin. So there are four chemicals in total, four to five chemicals in total. I'll just mention which I remember. And then there is serotonin, and then there is also endorphin. So these are four chemicals which play a major role in your life. Like, these chemicals can be affected by your partners, it can be by your eating habits, it can be by your sleeping habits, it can be by your exercising habits. So these are few chemicals which increase your mind to rewire and be happy. So most of the times when you are completely drained out, when you feel there is a lot of stress, when you feel that you've lost your job, or you don't have the capacity of job, or you're not capable of really working, or you're not able to concentrate on your daily chores, I think these chemicals can play a role. Now, Mavis and Thai, how do you actually increase these chemicals in your body? Ma'am, you're telling these chemicals are there. There are four chemicals. But how does this actually come in our brain? How does it help us be happy? How should we implement, or how should we get these kind of chemicals working in us? So there are three pressure points, acupressure points in your body. Whenever you
Mm.
there is a lot of stress, start press. Take your middle finger. I'm sorry. You have to use this middle finger. Take this part. Yeah, this middle finger onto your left. Take the help of your thumb and this index finger. Press it hard. You have to go hard on it. Press it hard. Hold it for few seconds and then leave. The second pressure point is this one, exactly below. Yeah, the second pressure point here, below that, here, here. Yeah. This is the second pressure point. Yeah. And then the third one is here. The straight 3 points. One, this one, two here, and three here. You need to
Mm.
press this one below that, below that. Mav is below that. Yeah, that's the right one. Tai is doing it right. Yes.
Ah,
So you need to hold it like this and press it for few seconds.
wow.
These are few points. Whenever you feel
Oh.
depressed, whenever you feel not happy, whenever you feel there is a lot of stress happening, whenever you feel that you need a support and help, and you feel like crying, you don't feel like being very happy, or you feel very depressed, these are three acupressure points, simple tips. So you can press this and this will help you come out of your depression for the moment. Yeah, so I think that gives your answer.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yuantai, what about you? How do you find that happy self within your own professional or personal development? You know, like what Soha has mentioned, actually is about the open mind, all the chemicals in the brain that you must be happy. So what about yourself, Yuantai?
Yes, I want to thank Soha for that interesting acupuncture. I think I've read about it before, and I think it actually works, though I haven't really tried it. For me, what makes me happy is really about, it's always about asking this very powerful question. Because as a coach, we ask powerful questions to our coaches to guide them to move in the right positive direction. So in whatever situation, maybe all of you who are watching, please write this down or just remember this question. Whatever situation that you encounter, always ask yourself this question: what good meaning do you get out of this whatever situation? And I say it again, what good meaning do you get out of this situation? The reason you want to ask yourself this question is you want to then focus on what is the positive thing that you can get out of the situation. Like, for example, when COVID hit the beginning of the year and most places go to lockdown in March and April and May, a lot of flights are cancelled, a lot of businesses are affected, and a lot of people are stuck at home. And for me, being an ambivert, so I enjoy face-to-face meetup as well. It's difficult. It's difficult. But then the question I ask myself is, what positive meaning did I get out of this situation? There are actually a lot of positive things we can get out of it. For one, I get to spend more time with my wife, my family. So we get to sit down and play some board games, or we just sit down and just have a good talk, and just listen to one another. But previously, at the start of the year, this might not have happened, or might not have happened as frequently as we would have liked. So there's always a silver lining in every cloud, no matter how bad the situation may be. Yeah. Just for example, today I read about, because I think yesterday was the PSLE results. So the PSLE is children in Singapore at the age of 12 years old. They have to take this exam that will determine which secondary school or which high school they can go to next year at age 13. So it's a very important exam, and yesterday was a release of the results. And most parents, they will always want the best. They want their children to score the best so that they can go to the best schools. But what really inspired me also, this article that I read about this boy called Raphael. So Raphael was actually diagnosed with cancer at a very young age. I can't remember what's the exact cancer, but it's quite serious, such that he has to be hospitalized in and out, and his left arm has to be amputated. So I think about 1 or 2 years ago, the cancer relapsed, and he has actually spread to his collarbone and it spread to his lungs. So for the past 1 or 2 years, he has been in and out of hospital, going through treatment, radiotherapy, chemotherapy. But yet, in spite of it all, he still maintained a very positive outlook. And he told his parents are saying that maybe I should just pull you out of school and just focus on your treatment. But I told his parents that, no, I imagine this is a 12 years old boy. He told his parents, I want to take my exams, my PSLE exams. I just want to study for it and try my best. So the parents, okay, I'll just help you. And then the teachers and his classmates help him along. But at the end of the day, what really inspired me about this story, and actually this little boy, he unfortunately passed on. But what really inspired me about this story is that this boy has no reason to be happy. He has no reason to be happy. From a young age, diagnosed with cancer, being your left arm amputated, not being able to play sports, play with the other boys, running around, kicking a ball like most boys at 11 and 12 years old do, not able to do that. But yet he's so positive and he's able to tell his parents, I want to take the exams. So that tells me that a lot of us adults, right, even though we may be going through a hard time, our jobs may be lost, our income may be affected, our business may be affected, we tend to focus too much on the negative things, but we don't focus enough on positive things. Yeah, if even a 12 years old boy who has totally no reason to be happy, he can remain so positive. There's really no reason why we as adults, right, having gone through much more in life, not having drawn a short stick like this little boy, I think there's really no reason that why we cannot focus on positive and choose to be happy. Yeah, and on top of that, I believe also that many of us have unhealthy ways of coping with stress. We eat, we binge, we are addicted to gaming, to smoking, to alcohol, to whatever vices. So we have very unhealthy mechanisms to cope with stress. So being a pharmacist, I'm very intentional and I'm very uncompromising in this, that whatever I do, it must be healthy and it must not damage my body. Yeah, so literally, I schedule it in and I really do it. I work out 6 times a week. I have 1 rest day, which is usually on a Sunday. And I work out the first thing in the morning. I sleep early every day. I sleep at 10:30 before 11. And I usually wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And I have a glass of water and then just read some Bible, do some meditation. And then I go for a run. Yeah, this is the way I cope with stress. And it's healthy. And running, of course, keeps you healthy. It pumps up your adrenaline, gives you the dopamine and all the chemicals and endorphins. Yeah, so my point is, if you are stressed, don't indulge in unhealthy things to cope with the stress. Of course, we will definitely be stressed. That's just a fact of life. If you are not stressed, then there's something abnormal about you. Stress is part of life. But how we cope with it, right, really determines how then we can be happy, which is something I firmly believe that happiness is a choice. Yeah, we can choose to be happy. We can choose to be unhappy. Yeah, it's really a choice, but most people, they are disempowered because they don't know that they can actually cope with stress in a healthy manner, talk it out with people, engage in healthy activities.
Yes.
They don't have this.
Yeah. So I fully agree about all these activities on how you can get happy. And Soha has pointed out about, you have to get triggered your body about the endorphin, the chemicals inside the body. And Yuantai yourself mentioning about the activities, right? So I was just a few days ago, so I was sharing with a hospital, nurses, a group of nurses and doctors about getting ourselves the willingness to engage ourselves. So now the next question is, all these activities and chemicals the two of you have mentioned, there's art and the science to find the meaning, the science of the chemicals within the body to create the happiness. Now, before we come to that, is it a motivation, inspiration, or willingness to engage individual self in finding their happiness? So what do you think? Is it a motivation, inspiration, or willingness that we are talking about to engage this individual self in finding that happiness?
I very strongly believe that one needs to probably have the willingness to get motivated and get inspired, to probably be happy himself or herself. The reason being, I can talk a lot of things, I can give a lot of examples, but basically, as I counsel a lot of people, I come across many, many, many people telling me that they don't have that motivation to live, or they don't have that motivation or the drive to do something in their life, and they fail for a reason being that they don't feel that they are inspired by anything in their life. Sometimes the cases are that I go into a lot of schools and colleges as well, and I go into a lot of corporates, and I see that the corporates, the people come down to me and tell, what, Soha, we have everything in our life, but there is still some emptiness, and we are not able to find why are we empty. We have money, we are successful, we have a good family, the family is very happy, I have no complaints, but yet there is emptiness. Now, how do you find that emptiness, and who's going to fill that emptiness? What is it about? Because there is no drive now to live. If you see, I do not know if I can give this example of Michael Jackson. He had everything in his life. He started becoming famous, and then he wanted to, he started buying his jackets which were of diamonds, because he did not understand where to invest that money. So he started investing in a lot of the things. He bought a zoo for himself. He bought all luxuries possible. He in fact bought people who could donate him organs. But did that actually buy him happiness? No, he was empty. And that emptiness is because you don't have the drive to do anything else in your life. So sometimes you have to yourself push to probably, get inspired by it. There should be a reason, there should be a cause. Right from the beginning, I've been insisting on a cause. Because even if we are living today, we are very successful. But if there is no cause or no purpose of living, then there is no point. Sometimes you live for others, sometimes you live for yourself, sometimes you live for your family. So what is the drive? The drive has to be found out. Now this discussion can go miles and miles away, because I think that now people might turn back and ask you that how do we bring the drive? You're saying you have to bring the drive to be inspired, to be motivated, to have the willingness. We don't have it. How do we bring it? We don't understand. So it's a vast subject, and we have to go very, very, very deep into it. Like when I get up in the morning, I mean, I probably am I sleep very, very late. I have sleepless nights at times, because there are a lot of people who keep calling me for counseling sessions, even late nights. We deal with the people from US, we deal with people from Dubai, we deal with people from across the globe. So they keep calling us, and then you're answering their calls. By the time you hit the bed, it's very, very late. And then you have people coming in asking you, what is the drive, how do we go about it? We are empty, we have everything. Sometimes it's like the parents do not have time. They give you materialistic things, but they do not give you time. Sometimes they give you a lot of love, but they don't have money to give you any materialistic things. Now, what is this drive? How do we bring this up? So I feel that if one needs to have this drive coming in, you need to get into mindfulness. And what is mindfulness? Basically, people do not believe in a lot of yoga or meditation. And people might think, ma'am, what is this meditation all about? Everybody talks about it. But whenever we are sitting and we are in a posture where we are meditating, we are having 10,000 thoughts pondering in our head. Instead of actually having no thoughts, we are having many thoughts. So I request, I suggest everybody, you should start meditation early morning. Just get up, sit on your bed for some time. Don't do anything. You have 10,000 thoughts, let them come. Let them come. It's a part. It will come. If you force yourself to not think, you will think more. So in the state of meditation, when you're sitting for a few seconds in the beginning, you will have most of the thoughts, which are unusual thoughts, also coming in your head. Let them come. They are coming to slowly be eradicated from your brain. So when they come, they will also go. They are coming to go, rather. So let them come. Give yourself time to heal. And that's your me time. When you sit in a state of mind, where you're actually having a lot of thoughts. Now, I will not tell like any other meditators that you have to think by your brain, concentrate here in the middle of your temple. No, nothing like that. Just stay calm. Sit in one posture. Have your back straight. Because when you are sitting on your straight back, folding your feet together like the Buddha state, you will definitely feel calm. And whenever you're sitting, I'm going to give you, in every speech of mine, I'm going to give you one tip. So whenever you're sitting, generally we sit like with a hunchback. So whenever you're sitting, always remember you need to do this. Pull up your shoulders, do this, and sit. That makes your back straight. It gives a lot of confidence in your posture. It gives a lot of confidence in your speech. You yourself will feel very comfortable and relaxed. So when you're sitting like this in the morning, early morning, afternoon, whenever you have time, you're sitting at your desk. Suppose you're in your office, you're sitting and ma'am, so how do we sit at the desk and meditate? How is it even possible? Go in a state of like unknown. Just sit, relax, breathe. There is a breathing technique also. Maybe in near future, if we have more trainings coming up, I will also give you these breathing techniques, which will keep you happy, up and running all the time. So to come up in a state of getting inspired, motivated, and willingness to be happy, you need to probably sit in one state, close your eyes, just breathe. That's it. No concentration, nothing. Let the thoughts come in. They will automatically go. So that should be the state of your mind. It can be early morning, it can be afternoon, it can be whenever you are feeling stressed. Just take a break for 2 minutes, 1 minute, few seconds, and relax. That's it.
That's very good. What about yourself, Yuantai? How would you engage yourself in finding that happiness then?
I fully agree with Soha. The key to that is meditation and self-awareness. And actually, when I wake up early in the morning, my mind is pretty blank. Yeah, so I don't really have a lot of thoughts running through my mind. Yeah, which is why it's the best time I also do some of my most creative work, because I don't have a lot of interference. So that meditation is really crucial. And whether you have a religion or not, of course, having a faith does help as well. If you don't have a religion, just practice meditation as well. It's about self-awareness. It's about thankfulness as well. I guess thankfulness is also a very important part of having a healthy mental well-being. Yeah. So regarding your question, motivation, inspiration, or willingness to engage, I think it's a mix of all the above. Yeah, because you have to be very self-aware, and the more self-aware that you can be, first of all, your confidence will go up, your esteem will go up, and then secondly, the way you view people, the way you treat people will also improve tremendously. Yeah, because I realized that a lot of people who either abuse implicitly or explicitly. Explicitly meaning that they abuse other people, like they speak to people in a harsh tone. They use vulgar language that's explicit, and then there's also the implicit. They use emotional blackmail. Usually, these people, they are having some kind of internal issues inside, and that arises because they most of the time they are not self-aware. They do not know what is actually the internal issues that's going inside, and they let that manifest in the terms of how they treat other people. Yeah, so all this will affect the mental state and the mental well-being of somebody, and being healthy it's closely tied to how self-aware you are, and how well you know yourself, and how well you can handle yourself. Yeah. So self-management, self-care, self-awareness is really a crucial part in this journey towards happiness, towards healthy mental state. Yeah. So I don't usually coach. I coach on mindset. I don't usually touch on mental state because I'm not a hypnotherapist, and I don't usually be. But having a healthy mental state, it does really tremendously improve someone's ability to perform to his or her potential. Yeah. So as a coach, as life coach, I fully recognize that, and meditation is something that I'll recommend to some of my coaches as well if they really need it. And I feel like Soha has mentioned, I feel that everybody should practice some form of meditation. Yeah. For me, I'm a Christian, so it helps as well because I pray to a God, pray to a Christian God, and that also helps. That really helps you to unload, because you need a means. We all need a means to unload some of our stress and some of our burden.
Yeah, I think it's your point. The two of you have pointed out a very good mixture of, self-management through meditations. Everyone has to keep yourself the calm mind and really empty the thoughts or let the thoughts just come to you, but meditation in calmness. And Yuantai yourself has actually talked about, self-awareness. And I really relate the self-awareness part also, because that is one part that gets people to be willing to be motivated and inspired, right? Now, let us actually goes on to something, okay, a topic that is really about, many people have talked about work-life balance. It's a very common topic, correct? So people argue and people talk about, I need work-life balance. Now, the myth of a work-life balance, what is it? If one can achieve work-life balance, does that mean that they are happy? But sometimes when I see even people are going into work-life balance at work, but I still see people still unhappy. Why so? What can you, what's your thoughts about that? So hi, Yuantai.
Well, I've never believed, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but then I've never believed in this particular word called work-life balance. There is nothing called work-life balance. It's only life balance.
Yes.
When you balance your life, automatically your work is balanced. A lot of people say, do not bring your work home or do not take your home at your work. That isn't possible. You are very human, and you're not you don't have a magic wand that you go to your office and you forget your family. End of the day, when you're going to your work, you are going to help your family live. So you're obviously taking your family to your work. And when you come back home, you're so much stressed, or sometimes you're so much frustrated that it's bound to that you bring your office home. So there is life balance. You need to learn how to balance your life correctly. Like, when you wake up in the morning, you need to have a to-do list, which we fail to prepare. Lot of times when we get up in the morning, we are so much in rush. We are so much stressed out that we just rush. We take bath. We don't even bathe properly, for that matter. We don't have our breakfast in time. We are always stressed. There is so much going on in our head. We are worried. Either we are worried about the business, or we are worried about the client, or we are worried about the home chores, that what we've got to come back and do at home, or the commitments we have around us. These all things are the things which will not allow you to have that work life balance together. So you need to have a to do list when you wake up in the morning for that particular day. And then when you come back home, before you come back home, when you log out at your office, tick those to do lists, how many ever you could cover for that day, and what are pending for the next day. That makes your life more easier. So I very strongly believe in this word called life balance. And that only happens when you balance your mind, your body, your soul. I am timely saying this because it's very much need of the hour, that you need to have time for yourselves first. With that, lot other problems, lot other concerns will automatically be answered. So when you are giving yourself a little time, I have seen in many of our lives, even my life for that matter, that sometimes I miss giving time to myself. So now I recently started from past 2 years that every 15 days I go for a spa, or I go for alternative, therapies to my body. Like I have some stone therapy, I have some music therapy, I have some water therapies happening. And I feel so relaxed and so good to myself that I feel more happier and a merrier person today. And as Tai said, that meditation is a mandate. I meditate every single day, which I would never ever do. But then I started this very strongly, and it helped me being or finding myself. It's like finding Nemo. We've seen this movie Finding Nemo. It's like I found myself. And I'm so much a happy person and a merrier person today. In spite of all the obstacles in life, in spite of all the challenges, at least I am in a mode where I tell myself that, okay, I am balancing my life equally and properly. So I think it's life balance which you need to probably think of, not work life balance. If you're balancing your life, automatically your work is balanced. And I suggested you need to have a to do list. Please prepare the to do list every single morning. Wake up half hour before. It's very important. Generally, we all have this habit. I'm sorry if I'm taking a little more time. We all have this habit of snoozing ourselves. We have an alarm, which probably we use, and then we know that we are conscious in our head. Okay, we are conscious in our head that we have to stop the alarm. And after 5 minutes, the alarm will again, buzz you, will wake you up, but we will still snooze it. So the snooze is the biggest troublemaker. Never snooze your clock. Just wake up at the time it's alarming. Or you can tell your pillow before you sleep that wake me up at 5 and tap 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your conscious will wake you up at that time. Yeah. So I think this is what you can do.
Yes, I think it's truly the real thing about snoozing. And I like what you talk about to-do list, and it kind of like gives you a framework, right? So like for me, I also have a to-do list, but the to-do list is never ending. Now, what about yourself, Yuantai? Do you think the path to real happiness, is there really like a happy framework? Because all along you've been talking a lot about the science or the art of it, right? Do you think there's such a thing of a happy framework?
Yeah, there is a happy framework, but let me just dial back to the work-life balance thing. I'm totally with you, Soha. There's no work-life balance. It's really about life balance. Yeah, I'm not sure how many people are actually watching it now, but if you are watching, please drop a comment below. What does life balance feel like to you? Yeah, so I say again, what does life balance feel like to you? And okay, before I go into the framework, let me just share how I usually organize my day. So in my day, in my week, and in my month, there are certain aspects that are non-negotiable.
Mm.
So non-negotiable will include time spent with family, specifically having dinner with my wife and having breakfast with my parents. This is a non-negotiable. And second thing will be my own meditation prayer time, because that really helps me to connect and to unload and spiritually get myself tuned up and ready to go for the day. And the third thing is exercise time. These are non-negotiable. I always have my exercise. Yeah. So on top of that, I'm sure some of you know this concept of the putting the rocks, the big rocks, the medium rocks, the small rocks, and the sand inside the pot, right? So these three non-negotiables are my big rocks. So I always put them inside. So no matter what, I always have time for this. Yeah.
Mm.
And then the rest will go, the medium rocks will be my work, planning for my coaching program, coaching my students and prospecting, marketing, branding, whatever, engaging in social media. All these will be the medium rocks because I have to put back on the table. And then the small rocks will be stuff like meeting up with people, catching up with friends, leisure time. All these will be the small rocks. Yeah. So if you use this concept, I'm sure you really have a good life balance. Yeah, and I agree. Soha, you mentioned a very good point that there is no way as business owners and as self-employed, there's no way, right? You can fully like compartmentalize all this. When I'm at my office, I'll do the work, and then when I go home, I don't touch the work. There's no way, lah. There's really no way. But what you can do, as long as you practice putting in your big rocks first, the non-negotiables, then the medium rocks, and finally the small rocks and all the sand, and all those that cannot fit in, you just have to eliminate them. Yeah, so you have to practice urgent, important, and then all those that are not urgent, not important, you really have to eliminate them. You delegate, you outsource, whatever. So that's that's how you achieve life balance. Okay, now to the framework. I personally use this framework called Happy. It's HAPPY. So I'll just briefly go through, not to take up too much time. H stands for helpfulness. Helpfulness meaning that you always look at who can you bless. You always look at others. Yeah, you look to give to others, and that takes away the focus from yourself. And often you find that you are generous. The way things work is that the generosity will eventually come back to you. Yeah, that's what I firmly believe is my core value, being helpful. A is about abundance, the mindset of abundance. The mindset of lack says that there's finite resources, finite whatever, but the mindset of abundance says that there's infinite. Yeah, there is infinite. You just have to go out there, be resourceful, and find all the resources. All the resources that you need to succeed is really out there. That's the mindset of abundance, and the mindset of abundance doesn't count pennies, doesn't count records and say, oh, I'll do something for you means I expect something. Sometimes you can just give without strings attached. Yeah, I think a lot of times we give things with strings attached, but we all need to learn the mindset of abundance, that is to be able to give without having any strings attached. Like for India, Gandhi is one very good example. He really gave without strings attached. Mother Teresa, she gave without strings attached. So this is the mindset of abundance, and most successful people, they will have the mindset of abundance. P stands for purpose, your why. So why do you do what you do? Yeah, a lot of people I find that they are not clear on why they do what they do. They don't have a clear sight. They don't have a clear purpose. They just do things for the sake of doing things. They just do things for the sake of putting bread on the table. Just do things to please somebody else, but they are not sure why. So you need to know your why. And if you know your why, it will be sustainable. If you don't have a clear picture of your why, often things will be unsustainable. You eventually burn out somewhere, somehow down the line. The next P is for passion. Being passionate about what you do. In line with purpose, if you have a clear sense of your purpose, then you can definitely be passionate about what you do. Yeah, this is the concept of ikigai. I won't go too much there, but ikigai is basically an interception of what you are good at, why you do it, and what, how, and why, the interception, and that's your ikigai. So find your ikigai. If you can find your ikigai, you'll be sustainable and you'll be successful. And finally, why? The why stands for you. So you as an individual, you need to know that you have certain strength, you have certain potential, and you need to know that you can achieve whatever you set out to do if you believe in yourself. Yeah. So that's the happy framework that I usually use for myself.
Very good. Thanks Yuantai for sharing that very good 5-letter happy HAPPY framework. And Soha, you have rightfully pointed out certain tools that we can tell ourselves in our conscious mind about not snoozing, and also to do a to-do list. Okay, let us just do a little bit on one thing that, like it or not, all of us will somehow or rather be getting into this situation. And usually in my coaching sessions, and I believe Soha and Yuantai, during your coaching sessions, when you meet coaches, clients, you always have that, because clients themselves goes into what we call as a state of negativity. So now the question I want to ask for your thoughts about is, how can we deter us from getting embroiled into negativity? Because that is the very essence why people are always procrastinating to find their happiness. So Soha or Yuantai, maybe you can share with us what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I believe that there are two types of negativities. One, it comes through stress. The other, it comes through anxiety. Okay, now stress is something which is temporary, meaning it is for time being. For example, if you are maybe going to a shopping mall and not able to buy a pair of shoe you liked, so that's a temporary stress. You might feel bad for that point in time, but after some time you will relax, you will get all right. Maybe for an example, if you're going out, or maybe you're sitting at home and you want to go out, but you don't have enough maybe money, or maybe your parent or maybe you yourself suddenly change the plan and your mood is put off for the reason that you could not go out that day. That is again temporary. So stress is temporary. And that can be negative, which is temporary negativity. But anxiety is something which is going to pull you down on your. For example, stress sometimes can also lead to your sleepless nights. But then anxiety is something which is more deeper. For example, if you have anxiety, you might get into depression, negativity for a very, very long time. So you might have to see a doctor also in case you have anxiety. So that is the difference between stress and anxiety. And negativity, as I said, can be temporary and can also be permanent. How to switch your negative thoughts into positive thoughts? Very important. At the moment when you feel very, how do you get these negative thoughts? What could be the reason for having negative thoughts? That you're not able to accomplish, you're not able to succeed, you're not able to achieve what you feel that you probably had to achieve. For example, we have students here who tell us that, ma'am, we were expecting 90%, but we just got 80%. That can also be quite stressful. The parents are absolutely okay. You got 90%. Wow, great. But then the students are not very happy because there is a lot of peer pressure. There is a lot of pressure that your friend had got more percentage than you got. Or maybe your friend or your colleague might have got promotion, but you did not. And these are your negative triggers. Or maybe he has a 50-inch television at home and I just have a 32-inch television. That also could be stress. How do we come out of these negative pointers? In office, somebody is actually being promoted. Somebody is given a lot of priority. They are always appraised and they're always praised for what they're doing. But I'm not. I am not able to get that, motivation, or they're not motivating me enough to come out of that stress. How do I do? How do I come out of it? So the first thing is, like, you need to understand that you cannot compare yourself with any other being. You cannot compare. If you start comparing is when the problem actually arises. See, everybody has this. I am saying it again, I'm repeating, that you might be thinking, you're saying it's very easy to say that do not be stressed or do not think negative. You have to come out of your negative thoughts. How do we do that? You're saying it's very easier said than done. How do we come out? I'm not able to feel that, stuff, or I'm not able to motivate myself to come out of my negative thoughts. So at that point in time, I feel that I'm not going to talk about meditation again. So whenever you have any negative thought coming in you, start this exercise immediately without giving it a thought. Or maybe you can eat a handful of almonds. You can eat some walnuts. If in case you are getting into that negative mode. Or if you say, I do not want to eat anything, is there anything else that I need to focus upon? So I feel that you need to start the tapping exercise. You need to start tapping into the middle of your eyebrows, start pressing your eyebrows, and then you need to probably, start pressing this particular part, the cheekbones, and then tab your chin, tab your cheekbones, tab your upper lips, tab here, press this. You will immediately feel relaxed. Yeah, you need to tap. You don't have to press. You just have to tap. Yeah. We lot of times, Mavis, if you're fine, can I quote a small story here?
Yes, sure.
So now there is this guy, he wants to probably take, he wants to learn the art of, karate. He wants to probably learn an art where he can fight his friends or fight the people around and become a very strong person. So at the age of 11, he decides that he has to become more stronger than anybody else. And by strengthening himself, he wants to probably prove the world that is much more stronger than anybody else. So he tells his mother that I want to go to, the monk, the Buddhist monk, and I want to learn the art of becoming strong, not only by my mind, but also by my body physically. So the mother keeps convincing him, no, 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 don't do that. You'll have to leave us, and then you have to live in the, ashram. You have to live in that particular hostel there, and it's not very easy because you will not get the choice of your food. You will not get the choice of your clothes. Nothing at all. You will have to just wear, red colored one gown, which is given to the Buddhist monks, and you'll have to leave the worldly things. It's not easy, son. But he doesn't listen. He says, no, no, I definitely want to learn karate. I want to learn how to fight. I want to learn, what is it called? I really do not know the word, but then.
Shaolin Kung
Yeah,
Fu.
maybe. So maybe he wants to become the Kung Fu Panda. So he tells his mom, and his mother somehow gets convinced. And she says, okay, I will send you to one monk, the guru, the teacher, the preacher. And she decides to send him. And he goes there. The very first day he enters there, the monk tells him, okay, so you've come to learn the art of fighting it out. So he says, yes, I want to learn this. I want to become very powerful. So the monk says, okay, get a bucket full of water from the other village. And this kid thinks, what is he asking me to do? Get a bucket full of water? He should actually give me some exercise. Maybe one particular karate or one particular step where I can hit the other person or a tree or a branch. But the monk doesn't do any of this. He says, you bring a bucket full of water. Once he brings the water from the other village, he's already drained out, is already tired. He keeps the bucket on a table. And he says, this monk that, okay, I bought this water now. What am I supposed to do? So he says, okay, now do one thing, slap the water until it empties, until the bucket empties. So the kid starts slapping the water. And then the monk says, okay, go repeatedly do the same. So 1 day passed, 2 hours passed, 5 hours passed, 1 day passed, 1 week passed, 1 month passed. He's just doing that. He's doing nothing. He's just slapping the water all the time, bringing it from the other village, putting it on the table, slapping it, emptying the bucket, going back, bringing the water, and he's just doing that. After a year, he gets frustrated thinking that, this monk is not teaching me anything else but to slap the water. How stupid of him. And why is he actually doing that to me? I've come here to learn some art, an art of maybe defeating others. But he's not teaching me that. And he really feels very heartbroken. He goes to the disciple, he goes to the monk and he says, I'm your disciple. I'm too much tired. I'm having a lot of fever. I want a break. I need to go back to my home. So the monk says, no, you're not allowed for 4 years. You're supposed to stay here. He says, no, I'm not feeling well. I need to go home and I need a 1 month break. I will come back to you for sure. That's a promise. But right now I need a break. I need to go. So the monk says, okay, go. And he goes to his house. Now in that era, people just had to walk through. Either they had horses or camels to commute. Or walking was the only option. So he starts walking to his village. Meanwhile, when he enters his village, his friends sees him. And they all start gathering him, saying, you've come after a year, super excited that their friend had actually come, learning all the particular art of, fighting. So they ask him to teach them how to fight. And he doesn't know that. So he's frustrated. He's stressed. He's too much tensed. He's not understanding how should he tell them that he's only learned how to slap the waters and empty the bucket by the art of, just slapping all the time. And then he reaches his home. His mother feeds him amazing food because he comes after a year. And he's a kid. From 11, he just turned to be 12. So the mother brings all the possible sweets, all the savories, all the dishes he likes. And she serves him on the table. His friends also go alongside and they say, please tell us, what did you learn? Why are you not telling? We really want to learn what you've learned. And he gets really frustrated and he hits the table. When he hits the table breaks into 2 pieces.
Wow.
And then he realizes that the entire year, what he was doing was strengthening his arms to fight his enemies. And he realizes what he did not realize when he was with the monk. So he realizes the strength of his body through just one hit on the table. So that's how your mind works. The tuning you give to your mind, the tuning you give to your brain, it exactly works like that. We use this word called manifestation. There is a beautiful book called The Secret by Rhonda Bryan. You know, the book written by her is so beautiful. Rhonda Bryan has actually written about how do you manifest your thoughts into actions. So I very strongly believe and feel that your actions, the way you think, right from the time you wake up in the morning, the negative thoughts or whatever you talk about will only eradicate by your own self, but nobody. So I would probably set an example here where you had to just slap the water, but you did not realize that you're actually strengthening your arms for one whole year so that you can actually defeat your enemies. Yeah.
It's very amazing. It's very awesome story, you know, that you have just mentioned about this kung fu. And wow, Tony in our audience was telling us about the power of mastery that you're talking in your story, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Soha. What about yourself, Yuantai? Is there anything you'd like to add?
I just want to add one thing. So stress, for me, there's external and internal factors of stress. External factors, sometimes we have no control over, but what we really have control over is the internal factors. So I think Soha, you have mentioned as well that it's a natural tendency to want to compare with others and want to like get one over your neighbors or that. I think that is a very part and parcel of the Chinese psychic. I think also in the Indian psychic, because the Indians and Chinese, we historically and culturally, we tend to be competitive. We want to be the best. We want to be recognized. We want to be the top. We want to perform at the highest level. Yeah, so it's part of the psychic of Chinese and Indians that we want to compare ourselves with other people. It's healthy if taken in the correct manner, but it can also be unhealthy if you don't watch yourself and you constantly compare yourself and you become very unsatisfied and unhappy and unthankful for whatever you have. Yeah, because I have friends and I have coaches who have this issue and they are constantly unhappy. So in spite of achieving their goals for the month, for the year, and I ask them, are you happy now? How do you feel now? And they say, I'm still unhappy. Yeah. So when that happens, it's often the inside they tell themselves that they are not good enough, they are not satisfied with where they are. So I think that there is a balance, there is a healthy form of competition, of self competition also, but that when it goes overboard, when it becomes a bottomless pit, because people who want more money, people who want more power, essentially they are actually trapped in a bottomless pit. Yeah, because then after you earn your first 1 million, there's the second 1 million, there's the next 10 million, there's the next 100 million, there's the next 1 billion. Yeah, it's a bottomless pit. And same thing with power. After you have reached a certain power status, you want the next. Yeah. So if they get caught, if they're not careful and they get caught in all this, it becomes a bottomless pit and they will constantly be very unhappy. However, back to my happy framework again, this boils down to the purpose and passion. If they are very clear of their purpose, and their purpose is often something bigger than themselves, leaving a legacy about others, about how can they use their wealth, use their power, use their intelligence to help other people. If it comes about others, that's when they won't fall into this bottomless pit, the trap of the bottomless pit. Yeah. So and that's when they will be truly happy. Yeah. So that's how I feel somebody can control some of the external stresses. No, sorry, the internal stresses that come from within, of not feeling good enough and not of always wanting to be better than the person next to them. Yeah.
Awesome. I think it's amazing and stunning that we have Soha, Janeja here with us today, mental architect, to really talk to us about the science of it. You taught us about how these acupuncture that can help us to remain happy, about the internal state of mind, meditations, comment, how we can actually motivate in terms of tools of to-do lists. And Yuantai himself, has actually bring out that art of being happy, talking about the purpose, talking about being happy, finding the passion, and all concentrate and boils down to our individual self. And both of you have really tonight, it's double happiness to have both of you, Soha and Yuantai, that we both learn in tonight's everybody audience out there, and moving forward when they rewatch this video, they're going to feel that double happiness, because we have ideas on how to calibrate the happiness equilibrium within us, striking a balance between ourselves first. That's why it can bring forth to any professional development or personal development that we are working on. And it's very important to keep sustaining the happiness within ourselves, be happy, be the happy self. And that we have actually tonight we are coming to an end. So with that, it will like to be outwardly manifest through our behaviors, bring forth our attitude at work or even our development path. Now, once again, tonight, it's too short a time, but there's so much we can cover in happiness, right? And I believe this can go on and on and on. Now, once again, I really thank you, Soha, for taking your time, and Yuantai for being here also. So now we discover the happy me, right? Okay, thank you, Soha and Yuantai. Stay tuned,
Thanks,
everyone.
Mavis. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Stay tuned, everyone, to next week episode number 10. We go into stepping up into your role. What does it mean with Lynette Ha, the business etiquette coach? Now, thank you, everyone, for tonight's time this evening. You all take care, stay safe, be happy. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.